It's a big thumbs up.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Well, it's a nice collection of cars here. Camaros, Chevelles, a couple of Mustangs, a Corvette and a Porsche. So I'm sure they're going to have a great day up north.
Okay, ready? Hey, yo, where's the people?
Well, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm Charlie. What's your name?
Serafino.
Serafino.
Yes.
So, Serafino, can you tell me about your car?
It's a 1964 Impala. That was we bought it about 15 years ago, and we bought it from a gentleman in California.
Really? And how did you go about finding that?
Oh, on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're thankful for the internet, aren't we?
Oh, thank God. Yeah. So we got it. We looked at it. We sent a lot of photos of the car. Then we got it appraised, and we verified what he was saying was true.
Yeah.
So we got it appraised, we got it looked at, we compared the photos, and it checked out, and we got it shipped over.
So when you got it appraised, did the inspector individual verify all the tags that were on the car?
Yeah, everything was checked out, the VIN number, what was done to it, and he obviously gave us an appraisal on what the value was and what we thought was the worth, and we felt comfortable. So.
And you didn't have too much trouble getting across the border with it?
It was actually pretty good. We got a transport to Buffalo, and then I went over, picked it up, and came over.
Excellent. Original condition?
Pretty much original. I mean, there was some work done to the quarters, but nothing major.
And who looks after the car for you?
I do.
You do everything yourself?
I maintain it, and then once in a while we got it ceramic coated.
Yeah.
Because it needed it, and that's it. I just clean it up.
Well, I guess it's very important to be able to maintain the car, because not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
It's like going to buy a car and you know nothing about mechanics.
Yeah. I know.
Right. It could be a nightmare, right?
Yeah. So we maintain it. It doesn't get driven too often, but hopefully this year we can get out to more car shows, and hopefully things are improving with COVID, and we can get out more and enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, have fun today. And thanks very much for taking the time to speak with us.
All right.
And then check yourself out on YouTube, How to Restore Your Camaro with Peter and Charlie. And remember to give us a big thumbs up.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Nice car.
Some great footage there, Charlie.
Yeah, that was terrific. The only problem was part of it never went live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rerun the first little part of it. But yeah, that was a great collection of cars.
See how as you talk to everybody, everybody has their own story of how they found the car, what they did, the condition. So like we spoke for many times over the last few episodes, everybody has their story, and it's pretty unique on every restoration, right? Some a little bit more, some less, and sometimes you find a car where it's minimal work, and sometimes you find a car that it's a work in progress, and it's a little bit more involved. But at the end of the day, when you find them, regardless of the condition, as long as they're pretty much salvageable, you want to recreate that car and bring it back to life again. You just don't want to send it to the scrapyard and get it crashed, especially if it's a unique car, right, Charlie?
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, a variety of stories. Some, as you say, they had to do a bit of work, others very little work. Fortunate to get a new roof cover, the vinyl cover. Yeah, a variety of stories, and guys who don't know how to work on them, like Pat.
Exactly.
Right, he takes them to the guy in Concord. So, for anybody out there that's watching and listening, you don't need to be an expert at this. You can learn from the experts, and there's one expert, Pat, who's found an expert who can work on the car.
Yeah, and it's always nice to see it. It always makes me proud to see these guys that retain these old muscle cars and try to keep them as pristine as possible, and they keep the nostalgia up. You know what I mean? It's nice, and I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said,
keep it rolling. And it was interesting when off camera, I chatted to a few of them, and got a bit more background. And some of them have not the one car, but maybe two or three. And we chatted about that, and I said, well, any chance that we can come to your place and film some footage for the podcast? I said, well, no pressure, just it would add something to the podcast and give the car more exposure. So we'll work something out.
I think Charlie, you know what it is with these cars. A lot of people, they don't mind the displaying them when they're a bunch of people, but a lot of people don't like to show what they have at home. It's just, these cars,
no, I understand that, and we would be very discreet. Like we'd be in a garage, or you wouldn't be able to see anything except the car, right? Yeah. Oh no, I appreciate that.
I sent you some pictures of hopefully with the 69 that I'm doing right now. We'll maybe we'll get on that a little bit in the future. I sent you some pictures of it being sandblasted on a rotisserie.
Yeah,
so
I got those. I might not be able to get them on tonight, but I've got others from your day trip. But I think what I'll do is I'll just restart the video, because some people wouldn't have seen it. So just hang in. Hi, it's early Saturday morning. I'm in King City, north of Toronto, and I'm here for a car show ride. I'm going to hook up with Peter shortly, and they'll be here for about an hour, and then they'll head up north on a little ride. So I'm just waiting for people to arrive. But in the meantime, get a haircut, this is a Chevy Nova. It's a 1969. It's a 350. It looks in great condition. Not sure if the guys made any modifications to it. An SS, and you see the brackets here for the suspension, they look brand new. Nice interior with a bench seat, and that looks like a modified stick housing there. Yeah, it's in great condition. Well, this one is just like Peter's.
Yes, this was supposed to be my car. Yeah. Hey. Good morning.
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 How are you?
Good yourself.
I'm Charlie. I'm a friend of Peter's.
Oh, okay.
And we do a podcast, so I'll just let you know you're going to be on YouTube. Is that okay?
That's fine. Thank you.
So you've got the same car as Peter.
Yeah, he's got a 67 also.
Yeah. So did you buy this new, or did you?
No, I got this about 5 years ago.
And what kind of shape was it in when you got it?
Exactly the way it is.
Is that right?
From California. It's totally untouched.
It's original.
Yeah, you can still see some areas that are kind of rough. So got all the trim stuff. I didn't touch anything inside.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can see it's a little bit of rough shape, but overall it runs really great.
Good. So have you seen our podcast?
No, I haven't. No.
Well, the podcast is called How to Restore Your Camaro.
Oh, okay.
Right, appropriate. And we've done about 5 or 6 so far, and we're on YouTube live every Sunday night, just about at 8 o'clock. So yeah, check it. You check us out. Some interesting information, and you'll see yourself there.
That's good. Thank you.
What's your name?
Marco.
Marco.
Yes.
Oh, the car looks terrific, Marco.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much.
All right. Thank you.
There's the Royal Wave. Good morning, Peter.
How are you, Charlie?
Good, yourself?
Good. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too. I brought my mask, but nobody else seems to have done so, but that's okay.
Yeah, you got your shots. I got one.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm 50%.
Yeah, well, I'm all the way, so I always go all the way, Peter. Anyway, so where are we today, and what's the event?
So right now we're at Tim Hortons in King City. This is our second annual cruise. It's just a bunch of friends that have some muscle cars and some newer model muscle cars. We take a cruise up to Lake Simcoe.
Oh yeah.
So we take a nice drive up the country roads.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
the gravel roads, of course.
No, Charlie. No. We mapped it out. Paul and I went out on Thursday on Canada Day, mapped it all out. Yeah, it was really nice. Nice route all the way up to Lake Simcoe, come across the lake and come back down, and we stop for lunch.
Excellent. So how many do you think are going to come out today?
Usually there are 10, 12 cars.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we just have a little, it gets, the other reason too is that the restaurant only holds so much.
Oh yeah.
So I have other people that like to come, but they like to sit in the restaurant, and they, obviously the long weekend didn't help either.
Yeah, that's true, right in the middle. So, so what I'm going to do with this is I'll get back home and edit it, and then I'll put it all together, and we'll hook up, do a quick opening and closing, and I'll put as much of this as I can in between. So just for the viewers out there, Peter and I do How to Restore Your Camaro podcast every Sunday evening, whenever we can, and although this is Saturday, we've made an exception.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we're going to have a lot of fun, and we'll see a lot of nice cars, and look forward to seeing you join us in the broadcast. And please remember to give us the big thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll be very happy. So let's get going.
I'll send you some pictures along the way, Charlie, and that way you can maybe throw it in there too. So I'll take some pictures and send them to you. Is that okay?
Exactly. That's good.
And then you can add it to the video.
Will do.
Thanks, Charlie.
Hi, good morning. Who are you?
Sandro.
Sandro.
Yeah.
And this is your 69 Chevelle? 70. I had a 69 4-door back in 1973.
Yeah.
So is this original, or did you restore it?
It's been restored. Still all original body and everything, but it's been restored. It's got a bigger motor in it. But other than that, it's stock.
How long have you had it?
5 years now.
5 years. Yeah. So, what kind of engine do you have in there?
The 498.
498. Is that the biggest one you can get?
No, you can go bigger if you want, but that's what I got in it now. Yeah.
And was that standard?
No, the 454 was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Are those original tires or that make
Size?
a tire?
No, that's the original ones. You could probably still buy them, but you're not going to drive them, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you don't get down to the nitty gritty of specific parts or original. Do you go into the original components for the car?
Well, you got to trade off some for drivability,
Yeah.
right? It's a radial tire. It never came with radials when it was new. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I like to drive the car.
yeah.
It makes it more comfortable, right?
So is it a daily ride in good weather or just the weekends?
Weekender. Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone was wanting to try and find a car like this, what do you think they'd have to pay?
Very rare, very hard to find, and when you do, big money now. Yeah.
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 Yeah. When I got mine in 1973, I paid $1,395,
Yeah.
and the insurance was $1,000 because they said you're just off the boat, sir.
Yeah.
You know.
I bought this identical car back in early '80s. And at that time, I paid $7,000 for it.
Wow, that's a fair amount of money in
That's
those
a lot
days.
of money for at 1980. Yeah.
Yeah, just think what else you could have bought for that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So-
Down payment on a house.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That time, not
Yeah.
today, but at that time, yeah.
So the bodywork, paint, and all that's original.
Yes. Well, original color, but not original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the interior,
That's stock original.
stock. Wow,
Yeah.
excellent condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one I had a bench seat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the SS, you could have them optioned with a bench seat if you wanted to, but very rarely happen.
Yeah. This is more the sports edition. Such a nice car. Well, thanks very much.
No
So
problem. Anytime.
check us out, How to Restore Your Camaro, on
will.
YouTube Sunday nights, and you can see yourself there.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Take care.
Well, good morning. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And what's your name?
My name is Pat.
Pat.
Yes.
And Pat, how do you associate yourself with this event today?
Well, I just like old muscle cars, and I heard that there was a gathering here today, so I came over.
Excellent, Pat. Now, a Chevelle Malibu.
Chevelle, it's a super sport Chevelle,
Yeah, and
1970.
1970.
Yes.
So, can you tell me a little bit about your car?
Sure. I bought this car in 1990 out of Aurelia. It came from Arlington, Texas, and it was always my dream car. My brother had one when I was a kid, and he sold it when I turned 16. And then after I got married, he was looking for a car, and I found the same color that he had, and I bought it the way you see it. Just change the suspension and the motor and the transmission to make it more of a drivable car, a modern car. Suspension is all redone.
Wow.
I enjoy taking it out on the weekends.
Excellent. And I'm sure that was quite an undertaking to do that work. Did you do it yourself?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
So you've got somebody who knows the car.
That knows older cars, yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
good.
yes.
And how did you find that person?
Through a friend.
Yeah.
A friend, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's always about knowing somebody who knows.
Somebody, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah, the car's in excellent shape.
Yeah, this paint is this paint is 30 years old.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
And is that an original vinyl
So
top?
when I bought the car was just painted when I bought it, and he gave me the vinyl in a box, so I had to, and I put the vinyl on through an interior person. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
So the body panels are all the same since 1990.
Well, outstanding.
Yes.
Now, can you tell me about your cowl induction?
Yes. So if when you push the gas to the floor,
Yep.
and the cowl induction opens up and it puts the air into the motor to cool it off. Yeah.
And where do you service the car?
At Dufferin Auto Center in Concord. They were on Freshway.
And
His name is Jim. He's a very good mechanic, and he's very particular about working on little old cars, and he takes his time. He doesn't rush anything, and he doesn't overcharge.
yeah, well, that's always a good thing. And these cars are much more simpler than the modern cars, so
Absolutely.
shouldn't be that difficult, right?
Yes.
Well, thanks for the chat, Pat, because it's a beautiful looking automobile.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. And what's your name?
Paul Duano.
Paul.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Paul.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, you got a good looking car there.
Thank you.
A Chevelle Malibu.
Yeah. SS.
So, what can you tell me about the car? I see it's got Portland.
Yeah, well, I found the car in 2006 and on a Hemmings website, classified site, and it was actually from the original owner, and his name was Clarence Crunk, and it was an estate sale, sadly enough. He had suddenly passed, and went after the car. I was lucky enough to be awarded with the car. It needed, it was in pretty good shape. It needed a paint job, and that's about it. But I had an appraiser go out and take a look at it for me, and he gave me the thumbs up, and I brought it home.
So, can you explain to me the process of getting it across the border?
Oh, it's probably easier to bring a person across than a car.
Is that right?
Yeah, so passports and documentation, and aside from, it was all tied with the logistics of it. We used a company called TFX, and
Yeah.
on purpose, because they just cross their T's and dot their I's and know how to bring things.
Anyway, I think we got the story there, and as you said earlier, like a variety of stories. You know, guys who know a bit about cars, guys who don't. Interesting, the number of cars that they got from the US. Yeah, hang on, Pierre.
It's fortunate and unfortunate. You know what I mean? It's fortunate they're still available, and it's unfortunate that in Canada we don't have the same volume as they have down there. Like in the US, every day they find them in a barn, they find them tucked away. Somebody originals, restored. There's so many around the US, and they pop up every day, Charlie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you would think, you would think that's a bit of a myth, but in reality, as you say, they could have made 800,000 of your car.
Yep. Yeah, and like I said, with the Camaros, there was tons made. Yeah, you know what? Some of them did end up in the wreckers, but a lot of people back in the day, they kept it. It was their dad's car, and they carried on, through generations, and they restored it, and they kept it, they fixed it. They, you know what I mean? It's such a great hobby, and it just I really enjoy the fact that a lot of people are into it, and hopefully it stays like that. It's just they can get pretty expensive right now, so. I mean, I always look for cars, and right now, Charlie, a lot of them are unattainable, right? So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, but it was really interesting getting the story from the guys, and how diligent they were in addressing the issues of finding the car and the process, and then getting it across the border. And as Paul said, easier to get a person over. Right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing, Paul. I've known Paul a long time. He's a good friend of mine, and his son Alessandro, who's an old soul, and he's right into the muscle cars along with his dad, and yeah, I mean they also are people that keep the
keep the interest going.
Yep.
Mm.
But yeah, I know it's that was a great video, Charlie, you shot. I really thank you for coming out, and we might do another one in September. I'll let you know. Eventually, what I'd like to do is grow it a little bit more. Unfortunately, with COVID, the facility where we had the lunch, they can only accommodate so many people.
Yeah.
But eventually I'm going to open it up to a little bit of a charity thing, potentially with the Dementia and Alzheimer's Foundation, and maybe just do a little bit of a fundraiser and donate the money to the foundation.
Okay, I'm going to try and get something else up here, Peter.
Yes.
All right, what's that?
Oh no. Um, where'd you get that from, Charlie?
You sent it to
That's
me.
Yeah, that's my 69 that I'm building right now. It's on a rotisserie. They just blasted it. They're just cleaning it all up. They're cleaning the floor up, and yeah, I'm excited about it. The body shop just sent me some other pictures right now. It's all in primer after they finish sandblasting it, and it's actually it's looking really, really good. So I'm really excited. It's gonna be a little bit more work to it. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a little bit more work, but it'll be this car is gonna be crazy when it's done, Charlie.
Yeah, and you know, it gives, well, people generally never see this. They never see that side of the car. So you can see that's some pretty good nick for a 69.
Yeah, and like I said, it's on the right now. It's on the rotisserie, so you can rotate that car upside down. So as the body shop works on it,
Yeah.
they can I mean they can move around. I take the car apart completely like that, and I send it to them like that. So I mean it's pretty cool. We're gonna take a ride up there, Charlie. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and we'll actually do a little walk around on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I was just thinking, I'm trying to get a couple of more photographs in here. I'm not really sure where they went to, but I can always make that part of another broadcast.
Absolutely.
But I just thought that would be interesting to see, because like most people won't go under a car,
No,
right?
not like that.
Yeah, and even in a garage, they don't let you in there these days. The days are gone when you go in and say, "Oh, what's that up there? Could you fix this?" Those days are
And that's
gone. Unless you get a guy like Pat was saying, Jim. I'm sure he gives you a tour of what's going on.
yeah. And that goes back to the full podcast of restoring your Camaro. So that one there, obviously the last episodes we did a lot of talking about, the numbers and where to find cars and how to source them out and what to look for. I'm more excited to start showing you the actual build of once the car is getting closer to start putting back together, right?
Yeah.
That'll be
Yeah.
that'll be really interesting for everybody.
Yeah. And it was interesting talking to these guys where some of them haven't replaced certain aspects of it, like the trimmer around the inside of the window on the one, the Camaro, like your own. He said he hadn't done that, but I'm sure you'll get to it eventually. And it's an ongoing process, and you do what you can when you can, and when you can afford it, when you can find a part.
Yeah, exactly. And that's and you hit the nail on the head, Charlie, by saying when you find the parts, right? So, parts
Yeah.
are available all the time, but if you're a unique individual and you want to try to keep the car as original as possible, and sometimes it's that the little crack in the weather stripping is better to keep that one in there than replace it with like with a reproduction. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but I
Yeah.
mean it's sometimes the fit and finish is not always the best. But
Yeah,
obviously,
exactly.
being a if you're a craftsman or you're like you can make things fit, right? You make it do as best as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's been pretty interesting, Peter. And I'm glad I was able to hook up with you that Saturday and
Yeah.
capture that. And
Couple
I hope these guys get to see it too.
Yeah, well I'll put it out there and hopefully we get some views and subscribes. But again, a double thumbs up to you, Charlie, for taking the time to do that and coming out there and do what you do good. Do what you do well.
Yeah, well, thanks very much, Peter, and thanks for the opportunity. Right, that's what it's all about, right? So, yeah, not sure what we've got in store from here on. And I think maybe the best approach here is, not sure of the timing, but maybe a trip down to see the body of the car, or see something else, and record that, and that fills up a podcast.
Right.
And maybe in between, there could be an evening car meet somewhere, as we did previously last year or the year before, and we'll do that too.
Yeah, there was one yesterday in Stouffville, but I didn't get a chance to go, Charlie. I was busy yesterday. Plus, I had to get out to the body shop too because I had to prep for the sandblasting that they were going to do, which I sent you a couple of pictures on. We can talk about that on the next podcast, and you can see exactly the gentleman that did it did a really good job with it, and the body man just. Once you blast them, you got to get it in primer as soon as possible so it doesn't, it doesn't start to rust again, right? So,
yeah, and I was going to ask you, do you coat it with, excuse me, any treatment on the underside?
yeah, it
I
goes,
mean, the primer and the paint, but any special treatment?
No, just basically once it's blasted, you want to ensure that you touch the car as less as possible because the natural oils from your fingers, they get on when the metal's fresh like that. You want to make sure you touch the least as possible. And if you do touch it, you got to make sure that's cleaned off properly with some solvent. And then what they do is they put it in an epoxy primer, and the epoxy primer fills all the pores of the metal, and it just seals it. And then what they do from there, once we get to the next stage, obviously there's a little bit more metal work that needs to be done in the car. Once that's completed, then they start the process to put the car back together and prep it for paint. Obviously the primer will be sanded down, and then they start doing their filler primer on it.
Well, I must say, we both look so much better with a haircut.
I think so too, Charlie. We looked a little bit rough on that Sunday.
Yeah,
or that Saturday.
I think that was I don't know, 3 months for me without a haircut, maybe 4.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's great, Peter. I'm glad that worked out well, and
yeah, it was really good, Charlie. I enjoyed it,
and I'm sure it'll look good on YouTube. Although we did have a bit of an issue at the beginning. Not to worry about that, but it'll all come out in the wash, as they say. And I just ask everybody to give us a big thumbs up, right? And support us. Come and see us if we're going to have another car meet somewhere, and drop us a note. Tell us how much you liked it, and that will keep us going until the next time.
There's hopefully there's one in. They used to be at the end of August, Charlie. There's the Auto Fest in Oshawa, which is a big one. There's over like 1,500 cars there. Hopefully by the end of the next 2-3 weeks, we'll start to see a little bit of reopening even more. So maybe they'll host it, right? And then I brought my cars there so many times. It's such a nice car show. It's 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Well, and there's a lot of cars, Charlie, a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure. Out that neck of the woods there would be. And there's also the Highway 11 cruisers up there in Newmarket.
Yes.
Yeah, that's handy.
I don't know if they've opened up again yet. I'm not sure. But like I said, there's even on certain weeknights they have it at there's a Greek bakery on Kingside Road in Bathurst. Kingside Road in Yonge.
Oh yeah.
That there's some gathering there. Some guys get together. There must be a lot of friends. Maybe we can head out there one night.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks to everybody who joined in and watched us this evening. Not sure how many people did. Thanks to all the guys in your group that spoke to us and it allowed us to film their cars. Really appreciate that time. And thanks for organising it, Peter. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Very good, Charlie. Thank you for taking the time to do that.
No problem. Bye for now.
Bye for now, Charlie.